everyone. So at this point you are able to, you should be able to hear me, and you should also be able to see my screen. If you could please type in the chat box that you do have both the screen and also my audio. And I also welcome you to today's webinar. Today we are going to go through a series of essentially features and functions that has been released in the past few days, depending on what essentially server or country or application you are utilizing today. If you have any questions, please, during the webinar, please make sure that you type it in, and I'll do my best to answer all the questions. If you're not able to actually get to all the questions, feel free to contact our 24/7 support line, and we'll be happy to go over your questions. Today's kind of features that we're covering kind of falls under three different sections. We have made some enhancements and improvements to our we have made some enhancements and improvement to calendar and attendance. We tried to actually make the attendance taking process a little bit easier. Added some more functions into the calendar module to be able to allow you to customize your calendars and events a bit better, be able to have more control over the events that you create. In addition to that, we made some changes to the online experience and the online booking process. We're going to go over those as well. And lastly, we made a lot of new reports that will be available to mostly the enterprise clients and that have been requested in the past little while. And we're going to go over some of those reports as well. And another report that's also shared for all customers. They're very good reports, and we're going to go over all the details and how it could actually be used for your business. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to type in the questions, and at the end of the webinar, we'll do our best to actually cover all of them. Okay. So on that note, we're going to start on kind of our first feature. So as I mentioned, the first category of features that we're going to go over are improvements to calendar and attendance taking. And I say attendance taking because we made some changes to the PM Scan application in addition to some improvements to the Checkin. We're going to start with the Checkin app, and I know this is an application that many of you guys use today, no matter of the industry you're in. It's something that's very useful, especially for those of you who have tablets and are on the floor with your members and students and want to kind of utilize this application as more like a digital roster. So you'll be able to know who's in the class, you'll be able to actually attend them into the class if they were previously booked, and also get some additional information from them, from that customer. That's going to help you actually run a better class, no matter what type of class that is. So this Checkin app, it's especially built to be able to be utilized on tablets, but it can be used on really any device that has access to internet. It's best to be used on tablets and laptops. I've had the question, does it work on iPhones or phones? It does work, but it hasn't been built for iPhones. Perhaps in the near future we can actually make some improvements for the phone devices as well. But one thing we do have here in this screen, as you can see, just kind of going over an overview for those of you who are not familiar with this module, is that you see the total number of people in attendance. You kind of see how they've been categorized based on their attendance rating. So attendance rating is a module that we have in order to be able to assess someone's motivation level and commitment level to the classes. It's calculated based on the number of attendances that an individual has had in the past 30 days of 30 days. So you can actually set the parameters yourself. You can say who is considered as an A student to you guys, who is considered as a B student to you guys, and so on and so forth. And these specifications are specifically based on really number of attendances they have. So if someone to you that comes to 8 classes in the 30 days, it's considered as an A student, a motivated student member that's not actually quitting or giving up. So that's a parameter you will have, and the system will actually look every day and calculate those ratings and mark them for A, B, or C. And as a business, you want to probably focus on non-active and the C-rated. These are the customers that are actually either have quit already or about to quit, since people don't usually quit activities overnight. It's usually a process, and the system is able to catch it for you. So you'll be able to speak to those or non-active and are currently in classes attended as an instructor and be able to understand why they haven't been showing up. Perhaps there's big small changes that you can do on their schedule, on their activity, on the coach that's assigned to them to be able to remotivate them and actually getting them back to classes and helping them with their essentially objectives and fitness objectives. All right, in addition to that, we have, for those of you individuals who are utilizing the martial arts solution, you will be able to understand which one of the students within the class and what percentage of those students are ready to actually go to the next level and transition to the next belt, and which ones are not ready. This also works for those of you who have swimming programs and any other levels introducing other programs that are offered. Here on the bottom, you actually see the number of people who've attended, number of people who've not attended. The people who have not attended, you can simply attend them, as simple as clicking on the button. The people who have attended, you can actually promote them to the next level. So if you want to promote Jeff from basically the levels he has, it will say, is he going to swimming level, he's currently in swimming level 4. If I want to introduce and increase his level to level 5, I can do that simply with a click of button. You will be able to also see communication tools, so you will be able to email all the customers who've attended, customers who have not attended, or everyone that's related to this class or this event. You can also send them voice broadcasts or SMS message as well to a group or all customers. And lastly, you can print a certain document, maybe a certificate of them completing the class, maybe any type of waiver, or really any information that you want, utilizing our documents in the cloud application, which you will be able to actually build your own documents. Now, in regards to the changes that we've done, actually this screen that you see and the columns of information that you has slightly been adjusted to be able to support more. Majority of the columns are the same. The changes that we've done here is, number one, this picture field. So what we wanted to do is to give you the ability for the instructor to always be on top of getting new information from customers and be able to be more involved with the business itself. So one thing that you see is you could see a customer that doesn't have a picture, and simply, especially if you actually have a tablet on hand and on the floor, you will be able to simply click on this icon and be able to either upload a picture that's currently saved on your computer, or take a photo and access your device's camera live and be able to take a picture. Actually, I have a camera here, so you can see me and I can take a picture and I'll be able to save it. I'm not going to save this picture for this purpose, but you will be able to simply do that and update the file and the customers as they enter the classes. You have the information for the full name, which remains the same. The additional columns are all remaining the same. You can, as you already know, any of these columns can be sorted if you're interested, or you have a long list of attendees and you're interested to only see specific ones. We also did a very minor change, but I feel it's a very important change to be able to improve the processes within your organization. It actually was not included in our release notes, but the alert function that we actually added in new alerts for a certain criteria, and that is for overdue customers, anyone that really has a balance on their account. If you actually click on this icon, and if they do have a balance on the account, not only you see a message which is similar to before, but what we now allow you to do is completely reprocess that balance and charge that fee immediately right from the screen. So you are able to utilize a credit that the customer has on account, or be able to choose credit card that they have on file, if any. In this specific example, this customer didn't have any credit card, or use any other methods that are available to you. So although this function looks small, but for me it's basically a very big enhancement, and I like to be able, since it actually improves your, and it makes your processes within your business a little bit more efficient. And this number and this value, actually it comes from, the balance that the customer actually holds on their account, which is listed on that specific invoice that you could see. All right, move on to the next section, which also relates to improvements to the calendar and scheduling applications that we have. It's essentially a new function that we have released It's kind of an old function that we've had, and this is the alert function. This is a function that we've had available on other areas within the system, such as customers and products. I'm going to go over that feature in case you guys are not familiar with it, because it's a very, very, very useful function. So I'm going to go to one of the customers, actually myself, and as you see here on the bottom right hand side of the screen, you kind of see pop-ups or alerts of information that can show up to you. And the alerts are actually access to the side menu, so you can scroll down to the bottom of the page and you would see the alert section. Here you would be able to add new alerts. So these are alerts and information that you want to show up to your staff member anytime you pull up that customer. And that could be every time you're actually selling them an item, every time you're registering them into an event, every time you're selling them a membership, every time you're scanning them or checking them into a class. All of those essentially actions will lead up for this alert to show up, and the alerts will have a message. You have the ability to be able to change the colors, to be able to, perhaps you have instructions within your organization, maybe things related to lost items. It could be in blue, or authorized pickup persons can be in a different color, so to be able for them to stand out. We actually have the same alert function also in products. So every time you sell a product, perhaps a certain alert shows up to your customer, to your staff member, maybe to notify the customer about the return policy, or maybe how to use that specific item, or maybe warn them about dangers that they might have. And here, as you see, same alert module that we just showed you, very similar functionality. So every time you try to sell this item, these alerts could show up on your screen. And we also have the same thing also on memberships as well. So what we wanted to do, based on the requests of many of you guys, we wanted to actually be able to deliver this specific solution and this specific feature also on events as well. So every time you actually pull up an event, perhaps there's an alert that you want to be able to notify the customers about, or notify your staff about. Perhaps maybe a dress code, or the attire that the member or customer needs to have or follow, or maybe it requires supervision of parents for that specific swimming class. All of these are different examples. I'm sure you guys have many, many more examples that you can think of. But we have a new field added here called alerts. You can simply type the alert of your choice. So in this specific martial art class, I've added that student must wear martial art uniform for this course. You can give it a color, a little bit less options of colors here. You notice that not many of you guys are keen on going to kind of that big palette of colors, so we want to make it consistent and easier for you to use, so we limited the option. But one thing we've also allowed here, since courses are booked online many times and we wanted to actually introduce new functionality, we also allowed this specific alerts to be decided if it should show online or just offline. So if you actually check the box online, when a customer is selecting this course and is going through the registration process, it will also see this alert. So notice a notification to them to be aware of a certain action. And what happens if you have the alert? So let's go here. We're just going to simply maybe add me to the course. You would see the alert. So something very visible, something right there that you will be able to read to the customer as a staff member. And the same thing will happen on the online registration. If you're not interested on it, you can click on it to actually for it to go away. Okay, speaking about alerts, we've also done some improvements to PM Scan, that application many of you guys use for the attendance basically tracking. And usually in a majority of our clients who utilize this application, PM Scan, I'm just going to open it up here, you would actually are using it in the background of your basic screen. So the reason behind this application, and one of the major functionality that it brings, is an ability for it to work in the background, meaning that you are able to actually map your barcode scanner or any type of other scanners that you have to the system, so it can be mapped, and it can always work in the background, meaning that on one computer that you're using, you can be working on different browsers, you can be on different applications, and still customers can walk in, scan their cards, and be able to still be attended. One notice and feedback that we receive from the customers, we've always shown alerts right in the screen as well. So as you see here, there are alerts that come directly from the attendance setting, so here that the person has had a recent attendance, or alerts that are left on the customer file, so they left a jacket or the require sign of waiver form. These are some examples that we use obviously for this purpose. But the feedback that we receive is if you as a user or instructor are using the system and kind of on different applications, browsing around, maybe on your Facebook, I know, it's unfortunate, but I see that often in a lot of the centers. You might not notice the alert because the application is typically closed down, or it's working in the background, so it's not an active window on your computer. One thing we've done, and it's really hard for me to be able to demonstrate this on this demo, but what we've done in this release, although we had the alerts, but now if a customer scans and there is an alert on their file, the system will actually open up the screen to be able to gather and grab the attention of that individual on that computer, that there is something that they should be aware about and aware of. So this is kind of an enhancement to an existing function that we've done to make sure those important messages are not missed. Okay. Another improvements that we've done, although it's very small, though we've also had this feedback, in few different occasions from different clients, and this is in situations that you have those customers that either are situations that the customers are kind of, are registering into a course, withdrawing and registering back. So those customers with that cannot really make a decision, I'm sure a lot of you guys have had them, or in situations that you've had a customer who registered into a course, or perhaps they received the wrong fee, or the clerk on the front desk gave them the wrong fee. Maybe the customer was eligible for a member fee, but a non-member fee was provided to them. So in the past, basically immediate action that our customers and our users would have taken was to withdraw the customer from the course and attempt to re-register them into the course. However, our system had limitations on that. We didn't allow someone that has already been withdrawn from a course to be re-registered into the course again, because we really didn't think this is a common case that's going to come up. But we did notice, based on the feedback that we received, that this is a situation that at times it happens, and we do need to be able to address these scenarios. Either it's due to the customer changing their mind about the specific program, or perhaps it's a staff member who has made a mistake and we're trying to correct. So let's say Jim Delta in this case. We're going to actually register him into the course quickly. So I'm just going to choose cash and register into the course and go back into the course and display the course view again. So we just actually took payment for the course very quickly, and we went back to the course. So now Jim shows as they have paid $100, and now we have the withdraw button in front of their name. So let's now withdraw them, and we're going to say we're going to issue a refund. So this is a module that, or feature that many of you guys are aware of, I'm sure. But you have the ability when you're withdrawing someone to tell the system if you want to issue them a refund or you do not want to issue them a refund. If you choose not to issue them a refund, obviously they're just withdrawn, and their money for that, the money that they paid for the course will not be refunded back to them. If you do choose to issue a refund, the system will first, and this is actually another feature that we released a few months ago, but first it will ask you why and what is the reason that they're canceling. This is a feature that you can activate and deactivate both for courses, for facility bookings, or also for memberships. So if you don't have this, we can actually, and don't see this, I can show you guys at the end of the webinar how you can activate this module. I can simply choose an answer, such as injury. I can add more comments if if needed, and I go to this screen. So on this screen, it allows me to actually choose a refund amount. So you can give a partial or pro-rate refund. So you can say, I want to refund them for 18 sessions or 16 sessions, or give them the fixed amount. By default, the system will actually calculate the pro-rate amount. In this case, you actually see the full fee because we just registered him into the course, and a few weeks has not gone by, and classes have not been completed for it to show, only 16 classes need to be refunded. But you are able to override these values either as a full dollar amount or as a number of sessions. So perhaps you want to only give them 18 of the 20 sessions back. But this is a deal that you're potentially making with the customer. We also have the withdraw fee. This is another feature that you are able to set up within the settings area. So in this case, we can choose if we don't want to charge them penalty, or we do want to charge them a $5 penalty. So we will complete the refund. We can give the money back as credit on their account. So we're going to choose that, or pay them back using cash or check or however they pay, and we can complete this. So as you see here, customer has now been refunded. So what we're going to do, we're going to attempt to actually register him again into the course. Doesn't help when you have two gyms. All right, here you go. So as you see, I registered Jim into the course again, and what happened is simply the pay button came back. So I can actually ask for the payment again. So I'm going to choose that, and now I'm going to maybe perhaps use a credit that he has on file, and we're going to apply it, and there's still $5 left. I'm going to pay cash for the $5 and complete the transaction. So now if we go back, same story again. Now Jim will show as paid. So this is again a small improvement, but it will reduce and resolve a lot of the headaches that were out there of how to deal with those circumstances and situations and scenarios that I actually previously mentioned. All right, some other minor changes, but again, the feedback that we received are in cases that you actually have a calendar and that is on a 15-minute duration. So the time scales are in 15 minutes. What we had in the past is, it's more of an issue that we had, which we resolved, is the durations for start and end time would not reflect the 15-minute. It would be defaulted to 30 minutes as a minimum amount. But we made a change. If you do have those quick 15-minute appointments, you are able to actually simply make them without making too much changes. All right, so these are so far some of the small changes that we've done, but we also did some big changes as well. One of the major features that we released related to calendars and attendance taking is an improvement and enhancement to the extra module. So as you guys know, for both regular courses and events or facility rentals or any type of booking really, you have an ability to add extras to the event. These will be items, equipment, memberships that will be suggested as options for the person to purchase. It could be either suggested or perhaps it could be made required. So it's required for the customer or the registrant to purchase these products, memberships, or equipment to be able to actually register into the course. Or perhaps it's a rental and the customer will like chairs or Wi-Fi or AV equipment, which will be utilized the same way. So what we wanted to do is be able to actually enhance this module and be able to actually allow it to do a little bit more than what it does today. So simply today you are able to add the product. You can make them online if you wanted to show up online during the online registration process. If you want to make it required, you can put a price, quantity, all of that stuff, which remains the same. We don't want to take out and away the features that you are already happy with. We also did some improvements in the last release and be able to allow you to find the products or the memberships you want a lot easier by these tabs and be able to actually see what's available in case you don't know the exact name of the item you're looking for. But what we did in this release, first of all, some of you guys have already noticed, we actually changed the design of this slightly. So the field is a little bit longer for you to see the full name. We also added the pricing scheme, so if it's $10 per item, in the case it's product or membership, or perhaps if it's an equipment, is how many dollars per session. So if it's every booking, you want to charge, let's say, $5 per session, you would see a total price for it. And also if in case that you have an hourly equipment, so I have an example here which I'm going to try to add in the case of Wi-Fi. As you see here, the number of hours, and as you see the total hours, it gets calculated based on the total hours of bookings that are part of this repeating event that I've created. So this is a 30-hour booking, so it's going to say $7 an hour for 30 hours, which is going to give you the total fee. So first of all, it's this module and this UI that we changed to make it a little bit more clear and transparent to your staff member what they're charging, how much they're charging, and if the fees in session based is it for the entire series in terms of an item, or it's an hourly fee. But we didn't want to stop there. We wanted to take it to the next level, and that is for you to be able to even customize the booking. So in some cases, you might have courses, let's say you might have an arts class that it requires art equipment only for certain days, or maybe you have a rental of a facility that AV equipment or Wi-Fi is only required for a certain duration of that entire booking and not the entire booking. So what we have now, we have for all the equipments you add to the system and to that rental or that event, you have this customize option. So by clicking the customize option, you will see every day of your events and the times that equipment is currently booked for, and you will be able to exclude certain days, and as you see, it adjusts the price automatically. You can change the durations. All right, I got to change this to PM, which also adjusts the price. You can, basically completely change the timeline, or maybe say from when the event is from 10 to 11:30 a.m., perhaps you only want the AV equipment for the first half an hour of the session, or in this case, the Wi-Fi. So you can really customize this to really fit your specific need, and as you see, the hours get recalculated, the total price gets recalculated, everything will be adjusted to be able to fit and reflect the changes that you made. So this is a feature that we've actually been working on for a couple of months now, and we're very happy and excited to release. For those of you who are doing rentals and rental contracts, this information will also appear like that within your rental contract, so no changes are needed on your existing templates and contracts. For those of you who have, maybe summer camps or, bigger courses, the same module can be utilized to be able to plan the equipment that will be used throughout the essentially that course and that program that you're offering. So maybe perhaps you have a summer school program, and only for certain days you want to charge equipment fee, or equipment can be actually completely free. It just could be scheduled, so basically when you would require certain equipments and when it should actually affect your inventory. All right, so this covers all the modules that are related and all the enhancements and features that we release in relation to calendar and attendance tracking. The next area that also works very hand to hand is some improvements that we've done to be able for the online portal and the online booking module. So we've actually, for those of you who are very aware of the BookMe application and the new BookMe application we released about a year ago now, we have a settings screen that you will be able to access and adjust how your booking and how you want your booking to function. We've actually released two modules. I'm going to cover both with you guys. One of them is actually not on release notes. It was essentially was part of our last release, but I did not mention it during the last release, so I'm going to cover that quickly as well. One of them is the client booking notification, so the emails that the customer receives upon booking for a course. We've had feedback from customers that they would like to actually see that content change, because today the content is generated by the system. So it is not something that you have control over changing. It is something basically that was generated by default from the system, and it always looked a certain way. So what we've done in this release, we've actually allowed you to now customize a certain portion of this email that goes out to customer. Perhaps you want to have additional information about the location, things like that. You are able to simply type the information here, and it will actually show up on the bottom of the existing confirmation email. The confirmation email is a very standard template. We've done a lot of research and a lot of testing to be able to understand and confirm that this is what the customers who register into the event want to see. So we don't want to change this specific setting where it says who is conducting the session, what is the session, when is the session, and where is the session. That we believe that it's just standard, and we want to keep that standard practice across the booking module. However, on the bottom of this page, you will be able to add additional information about your organization, perhaps cancellation policy, perhaps safety information, or any additional information that you want to include. The other area that we have is a new module that we say prevent clients from booking conflicted activities. So this is for those of you who run and manage bigger rec centers or organizations. Probably a common issue that comes for you guys, and that is when the registration season starts, you wanted the system to not allow a customer to register into a course if they've already registered into another course that has conflict with the course that they're trying to register into. So let's say that I'm already registered into a swimming classes every Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. However, I now attempt to register into a martial art class that's on Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m. That is a conflict. That is something that I cannot attend both of the sessions. I have to choose one. So what we have now, we have a setting that will allow you to decide if you don't want the customer to be able to book when there is a conflict. And what will happen is we're just going to, I'm going to show you, this is me logged into a course as a member, so I'm just going to actually go one step back. So I'm actually viewing that course, the landing page of the course. For those of you who are not still utilizing this module, this is a very good module. As you see, it's a fully responsive module where it allows you to actually see the information and be able to have access to registering into classes from any device, no matter of the device, the size of the screen of this device. This module and this system fits that screen to be able to ensure the customer always has the best experience. And as you enter the course, you would kind of see information about the course, the image, the description, the location it's at, the course ID, if the customer wants to search, the instructor and the bio of them. I don't actually have bio for John Williams here, so that's why it shows empty. And also the restrictions, if any, and the days of the course, so on what days and what location will the course take place in. And also all the fees. So if you have one fee, you only see one option. If you have maybe a member, resident, non-resident, general fee, adult fee, senior fee, all of that will show up here as fees. And if I click register, it goes to the next screen, and I'm already logged in, so that's why it doesn't ask me to log in anymore. You could see messages here where it says, oh, you can't actually book Jeff Surrey because Jeff has a conflict with Roll and Rumble class that he's already enrolled in. So not only it says there's a conflict, but it also tells you what class is it conflicted with, so the customer is able to actually really assess which one's more important. And also you would be able to see in this case that Jenny Suri, she has a conflict with Swimming 201. So really it's allowing you and trying to save you from making any mistakes. Other things that we've done to be able to improve this online booking is actually slight changes to adding the family function. So we've always had this. This is also a setting, so you can actually choose if you want to allow customers to add family members or not. But if you do allow them, they will see the screen. And we want to make this a little bit easier, right? So we've made improvements to the birthday field so it's more user-friendly. as you're typing the days and the years versus just being a date field. We've made improvements to the phone number, so it's formatted so people follow a certain format that's listed for your organization. We've also now allowed you to be able to put in your address information or be able to copy it from basically the family address. The reason this is important is for those of you who are using residency fees. So what we had is a feedback that what if customers don't put in their address, as in the past they actually didn't have placement to put in their address, and the results they were not able to actually become eligible to get the residency fee. So we've added this to be able to support those business cases as well. As you see, everyone in my family is already registered, so I'm going to just quickly remove myself from the course so I can actually continue with this process and show you guys the next steps in case you have not done this in the past. I'm sure many of you guys have. So I'm just going to refresh the screen, and hopefully Nima Jazbi is now available since we removed him from the course. So I'm just going to choose him. We go to the next step, actually, and as you actually one step backwards, since this is a question that I've got and I'm going to cover it while I'm here. What happens in the case that all the customer or that individual customer that went online to register already had a conflict? So what you're able to do, you're able to actually, if you have enabled another setting here called Display Supervisor Contact Info. If you add this and enable this option and you've added a supervisor to that specific course, what happens is this message shows up. It will state some members or you are not able to meet the requirement and contact the supervisor. And they'll be able to actually provide you the supervisor information so that this issue can be resolved perhaps over the phone or over direct communication with the supervisor. So maybe you get a call, they say basically that they require, they're able to move some of the dates around and make it work for them. We're going to go to the next step. The next step is simply asking you about some additional information. Do you have martial art experience? Do you have an e-injury? And as you guys are aware, these fields can be connected to existing fields within your database, so you don't have to ask this information every time. So in this example, as I'm entering, because this information is already recorded on my file as Nima Jazbi, it's already populated. I just have to confirm that it's true or not. So it's going to actually improve and speed up your registration process. And lastly, you see a summary. You can choose to add more courses if you want to, or you could just go to the checkout screen. And the checkout screen will remain the same. We have plans in the next 2 months to actually make some improvements here on the screen as well, but this area is currently the same. The other improvements that we've done, which is again, it's not going to be easy for me to be able to show unfortunately, but that is how we deal with primary account holders. So within PerfectMind and under every customer, we actually have a primary account family member field. So this is going to try to locate it. Not sure if I actually have added it to, oh, here we go. So primary contact. So this is a checkbox. If it's checked, you'll be able to, from each family, be able to identify who's the primary. But what we wanted to do is we want to actually take it to the next level. So here, as you see, you can see John Suri is the primary in this account. But we wanted to actually, for those of you who've been using PerfectMind for many years, you understand and you are likely aware that we had customer logins and we had family logins in the past. So the family logins was a login that could have been generated from the account level and would have given you access to see all family members' information. We wanted to make that usability a little bit better. And so what we do now, we actually treat the login for the primary family member or members, because you can actually have multiple primaries within our system. We're going to treat them as family accounts, meaning that if in this case John Suri logs in to the online portal, that he will be able to see every single family's information or family members' information available to them. They can see all the transactions, all the payments, and all the bookings related to any of these family members. So this is a small improvement that we've done in the past to be able to ensure that you have a better experience and your customers have a better experience with the online portal. All right. I've covered all the items under the online booking and portal improvement section. The next section, which is geared more towards our enterprise clients, is about some of the reports that we release. Before we go into all the reports that are specific to our enterprise clients, those of you who are utilizing our enterprise solution, I'm going to cover a report that's shared among all industries, and this is a sales information report. This is a very, very strong and effective report for you to be able to understand how your sales for products, memberships, for different variety of items is. You're able to run this report for any range of dates. This report should be available in your database already, so you are able to kind of see it and you try to utilize it and see your own data. When you actually you can run a range of data as I did, and you have to click preview to be able to see the information. You can actually see choose to, if you want to see only products, only equipment, only memberships, courses, appointments, or everything. So that's also an option that you have. By default, it will be listed as products only, but you are able to make that change. And here, for products, as you see, it shows me all the products that I've sold. And what it does show me, it does show me the category and the subcategory that they belong to. If you're utilizing those fields, it's going to really be effective if you use them for reporting purposes, and I'll show you guys why. You kind of see what vendor they're from, how many you've sold, what is the total the sales that you've had for them, what percentage of your sales does that equal to. So you can see for shirts, for all the sales that I've had for that range of time, this is equal to 1.8% of all my sales. So this you will be able to really assess and understand basically if that's a good selling product item for you or if it's not. You will see the total discounts, the inventory cost, the percentage of total inventory that you have. So out of all the inventories that you have, how much of it is this specific product? This is very good for you to be able to assess which products you need to actually be able to get rid of. And also the margin. So that is kind of a difference between the sale price and the, your cost to be able to calculate the margin. As you see here in this database, everything's 100% because I actually have not recorded costs for these items. In this specific case, my cost is $33. My sale price is 104, so it does show me a margin of 68%, which is a really healthy margin. Now, this is not it. So this is a basic level of information that I can see, but you can actually customize this report for a variety of different purposes. So one thing you can do is remove the details of the items. So perhaps you don't want to worry about every single item, but you want to see an overall basis based on department. Now, because department is not populated, this shows as none for me. But this is really an overall sales report now to knowing that I've sold 118 items at this net price, total percentage of my sales, and the margin for everything altogether. I'm going to go back to the detail view. You can choose the subcategory of products of what you want to include. Perhaps you want to only see gift cards or credits or tickets or everything as I have selected. You can choose all departments or only certain ones. I'm going to maybe run maybe a longer range and hopefully I can get, so I don't actually have anything item as training sold under department train. We can have categories. You can choose a certain category, all categories. Same goes with the subcategories, so you can filter down. But the other thing that's going to really change the behavior of this report is grouping. So right now we have grouped by department, so that's why you see the none option because none of my actually items actually have a department. But what you could do, perhaps you can actually change it to group by dates. So then you can see on June 3rd, this is a sales, on June 6th, this is a deal, or you can actually see based on maybe when vendor or really any additional information. So you have the options are essentially endless here. And lastly, you can change the sorting as well. So how you want these items to be sorted. Do take note that this information can be exported as well, so you're able to export it to CSV and you'll be able to make your own changes to it if you wish to as well. So this is a report that's available to everyone. I think one of the strongest sales report we've ever built. We would love to hear your feedback. So to start utilizing it and let us know if there's any way that you think that it can be even further improved. From this point onwards, for those of you who are utilizing our martial art, yoga, or SMB products, you're more than welcome to stay with us. But the rest of, we have 5 more reports to cover, which are specifically related to the enterprise solution. But you're more than welcome to stay with us, and especially if you have some questions that you want to ask at the end. All right, the next report that we're going to cover is activity registration summary. So this is a report that will give you a very detailed information about the activities that you have, and kind of very similar to the previous report, but more towards just your activities in specific. So it's very customizable, similar to the previous report. You will be able to choose certain locations and complexes that you want to see it for, certain type of bookings, so courses, single booking, or appointments. You can remove perhaps the canceled activities and pending and only have the confirmed ones. You can filter based on season. You can filter based on category, supervisor, instructor, the calendar name itself, or even the service name. So all of this is very customizable to be able to show you the information you're looking for. You see the activity name, the ID of the activity. You would see when it starts, the minimum attendance is recorded, the maximum attendance is number of registrants, number of people on wait list, and number of people who withdrew from the course. Total fees collected, total extras collected, and total of all fees and revenue that's been generated for you. And you see it for all the events. You can group it based on different things. So right now it's based on category, so I have early years in sports, but I can simply change it based on service, so go a little bit further down in detail, so preschool, half-day, full-day, starfish program, camps, and so on and so forth. All right, the next report is facility schedule. So facility schedule is a report that can be used really both internally and externally. So you can actually use this to be able to report what's happening on a certain facility at a certain time. Again, tons of filtering and grouping options. I'm not going to go through all of them. One thing I'm going to cover is ability for you to show certain fields or not show certain fields, so you can remove like service name as it removes a column, or you can add it. So this is a little bit of a different kind of option that you have. Now this report where it could be used greatly is if you're using perhaps sheets that you want to provide your staff of what's happening on a certain date on all the facilities, or perhaps you can actually group it by the facility name and see what's happening on a certain facility on a certain date or time range. You can give it to people. You can, your staff members, you can have it posted on a bulletin board, or you can use it as door cards for those of you who still print the door card and actually put it behind the door on the bulletin door board by that room. You'll be able to utilize this report to be able to get there. Well, one thing I really like about this report, it's drill down, so you can actually, if you are interested to learn more about a certain event, you can actually click on it and go into the details of that event or that booking. So that's something really neat about it, which I personally really like. The other report is facility usage report. So this is a very, very strong report. Again, it gives you the ability to understand what's happening on a certain facility, but this report has dollar amounts and services on it as well, so you can see how much that facility is generating revenue for you. So here, this example by default view, you kind of see the birthday on MultiPurpose Room B. There's 2 contracts, 2 activities, 5 sessions, and this is what's generating. Now, similar to the previous report, I can filter. I can choose certain type of customers. Maybe I only want to see nonprofit revenue, or I want to see organization, how much revenue they're generating, or only contracts that have been firmed versus all contracts, or only ice rinks and pools versus all facility types. Customer categories, so again, nonprofit affiliates or whatever the case is, and other options that you might have, so that's customizable. Certain services are really, really customizable for you to be able to only see information that you want to see, and you can group it. So perhaps I can group by facility type. I'm going to actually select all here since I don't have. So I can see a multi-purpose room, this is how much money we've generated for multi-purpose rooms in specific. And you can change the sorting. And you can also change the columns of information you want to show. So perhaps maybe you want to share this information with someone and you don't want the financial information to be there, so you can remove the columns for the dollar amounts and only leave the hour. So this is one of my by far favorite reports, very strong and very effective report for multiple purposes, and it should satisfy and provide you all the details you require in regards to understanding the number of bookings and number of and dollar amount in revenue that a certain program is generating or certain facility is generating for you. The next report is contracts to be completed. This is just for us to be able to help the organization to know which contracts are still in progress or required to be completed since the dates have gone. So again, you have ability to see certain type of contracts, certain locations, and group it in a variety of different ways. And you kind of see the contract number and be able to understand what you require to do and what actions you require to take with that specific contract. And lastly, very, very small change with the event roster report that we've done. So the report is something you're already familiar with. However, what we've done, we've added the show waitlist. So what this does, if you actually allow this option, we actually show you the number of people on waitlists that you have as well. So we're just going to see. And it's going to actually show you the dates that basically they have entered their wait list as well. So you'll be able to know, who you should actually be dealing with. All right, we are almost, we have covered really all the features and functions that are part of this release. There are a couple of other minor items that we have, and I recommend you to review the release notes to be able to get yourself more familiarized with it. At this point, I welcome any questions, if there are any, to be posted on the chat box, and I'll be more than happy to cover them. We have about 5 more minutes, so we are likely to be able to cover a couple of questions. All right, so far no questions. So I either did a great job in explaining everything, or I did a really bad job, and I confused everyone. All right, so Matthew has asked a question on the facility usage report. How can we see the total number of hours a specific facility is used? All right, let's do that on the facility usage report you've asked. So what you would be able to do is just group it. I see what you mean. So you want to see a specific facility versus a specific facility type. So if you see here the list of facilities, so depending on how you want to do the grouping, that's really, you can actually have no grouping at all. And you would see, as you see here, you see each facility listed here and the number of hours, so the total hours that that facility has used. I hope that answers your question. So really a no grouping. If you wanted to see facility types, how many hours has been used, you can actually just group it by facility type and see it that way. If you're interested to see on the service level, you are able to also group it by service level and see meetings on this room. This is how many you've had. Tammy has asked for the facility schedule report. Can it be printed as a calendar instead of a list view? Not from the report, Tammy. However, if you want to see it in the calendar, and that's a feedback that you can certainly submit, in the actual calendar itself, you will be able to simply filter down to only see a certain facility, like such, and then be able to export it into PDF. So you can have it in a calendar view in using other modules and functions that we have available. The other thing, kind of, it's an older feature that we have, just to cover it once again in case you have missed previous webinars, is we also have the schedule option. So if you want to see a certain person's schedule, we actually can show it on the calendar. This is not the greatest example. I'm going to go over someone else, hopefully with some booking. Really bad members. No one actually has any bookings. Let's see on the family level. But you would be able to actually kind of see it on the family or individual level of all their schedules. This is not exactly what you've asked for, but just basically to also cover this module. In addition to that, if a certain facility contract you've entered, you're also able to see the bookings of that specific facility contract also in the calendar view as well. All right, I'm getting some messages that my audio is cutting out. I hope it's better now. The next question I've got from Tammy: how do I cancel or reverse a refund that was already requested? So this is kind of a pending refund, I'm sure you're asking. If that's the case, I actually don't have it set up in the specific database. That is something that we are able to actually walk you through outside of this webinar, perhaps. All right, we have covered all of our questions for today as well. I want to thank everyone for taking the time and actually attending this webinar. And also thank you guys for your basically feedbacks that we've been receiving on a regular basis. We do highly appreciate them, as it can help us grow as a company and improve our products to be able to serve you better down the road as well. So once again, on behalf of PerfectMind, I want to thank you for your commitment, your continuous feedback, and also your time of attending this webinar. And we'll see you guys again in August for our next training session. Thank you very much and have a good day.